I have a lot of clients that talk to me about their relationships and how to make those relationships better. Most of my clients have hired me for professional reasons. A lot of our conversations center around relationships at work, how to lead their teams or their companies and their organizations more effectively, how to work better with their boss, their colleagues, their peers. But I've got to say that oftentimes my conversations with clients bleed over into their personal lives because how we treat each other at work isn't all that dissimilar to how we would treat a friend, a family member, and our spouses, our significant others, our partners. And as I've been talking to people over the last month or two, I realized there's some key pieces of advice that I keep bringing up and I keep giving people. And so I wanted to dispense them here on You All Now. And there's about 3 or 4 things that I want to share. I haven't planned for this, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. Number 1, viewing love as a verb, not a noun. So often we feel like emotions such as love or happiness should just come to us. I just don't feel the feeling of love anymore. This came up in Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits. I don't love him anymore. I don't feel love towards him anymore, people will say. And the reality is that love is not a noun best used in relationships. It's a verb. We feel love towards people when we treat them in loving ways. We don't have to just wait to feel love or wait for our partners to do things that make us feel love and wait for that feeling of love to just appear. We can just choose to love somebody. I had a situation just a couple of weeks ago where David and I left for work, or he went to work and I started my day here with clients at home in a bit of a disagreement. We had a difference of opinion that morning over something, and I felt very angry and annoyed and frustrated. But by the time 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock rolled around, I realized that if I love David, which I do, I should do something loving towards him. And the feelings of anger, displeasure, annoyance aren't loving. And so even though I didn't really want to go do this and I still felt angry inside, I went grocery shopping for him. I got in the car, drove to the store. He typically gets the groceries for us most weeks. And I went and did that job for him because I knew that he was having a really busy day at work and then he had plans after work and he just wasn't going to have time to do it. And I had more time than he did. And what was interesting is that by the time I was coming back from the grocery store with the groceries, I didn't feel as angry at him anymore because I had done something loving towards him and chosen to love him even though I didn't want to or feel like it. I felt more love. So don't just wait to feel love. Don't wait for your partner to do things to make you love him or her. Choose love. Choose to view love as a verb. Number 2, if you're in a disagreement or if you see something a different way or having a difference of opinion, struggling to work through any kind of tough moment, it's so important to center an understanding around both of your feelings. Oftentimes with David and I, we would get into disagreements and I would realize after about, we were halfway through it, I had not said, hey, how are you feeling right now? Like what's the emotion that you're having? Tell me a little bit about what is going on for you and with you. And I would also choose to do that for myself, saying, you know what it is that I'm feeling a little alone in this right now, or I feel disrespected right now, or I don't feel like I've been heard right now, or I feel misunderstood right now. Instead of saying, you did this and this is what's wrong with your behaviors or actions, just simply communicating from a place of, hey, this is kind of how I'm feeling about this right now. And then being as equally interested in your partner's feelings. Hey, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling sad over whatever. When people get to say how they feel about something, it's almost like emotional oxygen. It seems like it's psychological air. It allows us to get something off of our chest. And once we expel that or share that, then we're more apt to be able to focus on hearing the other person and figuring out a solution. Oftentimes, when you see two people arguing and they're at battle or at war and they're not getting anywhere, people have not gotten the chance to just simply say, these are the feelings I'm having. I'm hurt inside. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I feel anxiety over this. I feel betrayed. I feel frustrated. They haven't had a chance to say that. And because they haven't said it out loud, they haven't had a chance to grieve that or experience that or share that really for themselves. And so it's still kind of bottled up, it's pent up. When you ask someone, hey, just tell me how you're feeling, let me tell you how I'm feeling, and let's just sit with our feelings. Sometimes when we feel heard, valued, appreciated, then we can not feel as angry anymore and as out of sorts, and we feel like maybe I'm more on a team instead of, against someone. We can move forward. Number 3, figuring out how to apologize genuinely. Every now and then in relationships, something is going to go wrong. We will have conflict. And when we don't know how to apologize to each other, it can create more problems. A few things that I do when I apologize to someone, I identify specifically what it is that I'm apologizing for. Some people just say, oh, sorry. But to say, hey, I'm really sorry that I did this, and I'm really sorry that made you feel this way, or it led to you feeling this way. And I really want to apologize that has happened and that I've caused that. It's very different than just saying, oh, I'm sorry for Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry for last night. Oh, I'm sorry for whatever happened. Saying out loud what has happened helps the other person know that you get it, that you're aware of what's gone on. Number 2, also identifying the emotions or the feelings, that might have caused in someone. Hey, you know what, I realized when I was late by 30 minutes that you were waiting at the restaurant by yourself. That probably didn't feel good to you. It probably felt like I was disrespecting your time. You probably felt like you weren't being very productive. Maybe you felt like you cared more about our appointment than I did. And I'm really sorry that not only I did that, but also that you had to experience that. You had those emotions. Really identifying, hey, I really get what that must have been like for you. I think that helps people feel that they're loved, valued, respected, cared about. And finally, then identifying the action you're going to take to ensure that it's not going to happen again. Hey, I will not do this again. Sometimes it's really even helpful to explain the how behind that. Hey, I'm gonna make sure that my appointment is on both my calendars, my work one and my personal one, so I don't forget about this date we had. Hey, I'm going to set an alarm or a reminder so that I am reminded to leave work on time so I can be there for you. These are the things I will do so that we don't have to experience this again. Final thought for relationships, recognizing that people don't have your same beliefs, paradigms, background, upbringing. So often when people do things, we say, look, I don't know why they're doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. I would never do that. But we forget that we were brought up and raised differently than other people. And so what might be obvious to us or our way of doing it is not obvious to other people and not their way of doing it. And so withholding judgment is really important because it's important to acknowledge, hey, maybe my way isn't the only way. Maybe there are other approaches. Maybe this has worked for me, but that isn't what has worked for my partner or the person I'm in a relationship with. So let me ask questions. Let me find out more about their why and their reasons, because if I can do that, potentially then I can explain the behavior, and then we can talk about how the best way is that we want to proceed. Not just, hey, it's my way and you should come to me and adapt to me, but it's sort of a mutual shared figuring out of, hey, here's kind of what I was thinking. Sounds like here's what you're thinking. And let's work on that together, talk, have dialogue, and establish what do we want to do? What's the rule or the norm that we want to set for this group, for our relationship, for this operating team? With that, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you choose to use love as a verb, to ask about people's feelings and really care about the answers, to take time to apologize genuinely and authentically if you make a mistake, and to really consider someone's past and upbringing and paradigms and beliefs as outside of yours whenever you're in conversation and come to a difference of opinion. If you do these 4 things in your relationships, I promise you better relationships. They've worked for me and my relationship, but the people I see that are highly successful do all of these things. With that, everybody make a great day and enjoy.